friends, I'm Cassandra Lowery. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Today, I want to talk to you about some of the food ideas. If you're doing a do-it-yourself wedding, we just got done. My daughter just got married, and we did a lot of it ourselves. She went very budget-friendly on it, and there were some great things that worked really well, and there's some things that I learned from it as well. So I just wanted to talk to you today about the food aspect of things. So in the reception, we actually did not use as much food as we figured we would. So we had roughly 300 to 350 guests for the reception. And in that, there was several children, but we also had a lot of teens and young men as well. But there were several toddlers and infants as well. So take that into account when I say this. But we figured roughly 2 servings per person. We did not want to run out at all, for sure. And so that's what we figured per person is 2 servings. But we did not go through near that much. I figured probably with that many children and infants, we probably would have been safe doing 1.5 servings per person. We did a taco bar. What kind of nachos? We stuck with just tortilla chips. We also did some grain-free ones because we knew that allergies were an issue with some of our guests. And that is one of the reasons we went with tacos as well, is because we know that tacos can be super flexible when it comes to food allergies. I make my own seasoning, so that's what we used for that, so we didn't have to worry about any extra ingredients in that. And then when you have anybody that has gluten or dairy issues or anything like that, they get to choose what toppings they do or do not do. So tacos makes a great group food item if you have to worry about any allergy issues or food sensitivities or anything like that. So the taco meat, we probably didn't have as much of that left over as a lot of the other items. So maybe 1.75 would have been a better bet, because you want to come away with a little bit left over. You don't want to run out of food. But we had black beans and we had rice, and both of those easily we could have done 1.5 servings per person, maybe even less. And then the toppings as well. The toppings we figured at 2 per person, and we really did not need 2 per person there. 1.5 per person would have been plenty. We had lots of toppings since that's what we were doing for the wedding. We just went all out on toppings. We had sour cream and guacamole and jalapenos and shredded cheese and nacho cheese and gosh, diced tomatoes, and I don't know. We had everything, salsa. We had a lot of toppings. And then we had a veggie tray. The veggie tray, we did less on that. So that one we actually came out pretty good on. We didn't have a ton of leftovers on that. And then we had a couple of large fruit trays. And the fruit and the veggies, I did not figure 2 per serving. There we figured less than 1 per serving, honestly. When we asked for those to be done, we asked for about 100 servings worth on a veggie tray and about 200 servings worth on the fruit tray. And then we also had about 4 salads. I think there was a veggie salad and a fruit salad, a pasta salad, and there was another salad as well. And then cookies, it was our dessert. They decided just to do cookies only, and mints. We did cookies and mints. And again, we totally overestimated on cookies as well. We figured people would eat more as they stayed and danced and stuff. We figured roughly 3 per person, and we did not end up going through near that many. I think that's about what we ended up figuring total. We had some people make some that we had extra more than we planned. So I can't remember the exact amount we ended up with. So that is on the reception end of things. And what they did for food, since it was do-it-yourself wedding, they actually asked a bunch of their aunts to do some of the food, make some of the food, or buy some of the food as part of their wedding gift. And so that is an idea also if you're looking for ways to cheapen things up and you really are not worried about all the gifts later, that is a great thing to ask for a wedding gift as well. But where you probably do want to overestimate on food, as we were preparing quite a ways ahead of time and making plans, I really did not make plans for some of the other meals. And then as it got closer, I'm like, oh wait, we have all these other meals. So obviously the supper at the reception or whatever meal you're having there and the rehearsal supper are the two big ones that you think about. We started setting up in the morning on the Friday, and so we needed to provide lunch for everybody that was there setting up as well, which there was probably 20 or 30 people, so not a lot of people, but that is something that you need to think about as well, during setup, feeding people during that. And then on Saturday, we did have people spend the night on Friday night as well, because they were far enough away and stuff. And so then I needed to make sure I had plenty of breakfast foods on hand for Saturday morning. And then we served lunch. And for lunch, we honestly just did a build your own sandwich bar, just had some meats and breads and different toppings out, and then some chips. Just something super simple, knowing supper was gonna be a big supper. And so that's what we did for lunch. And then I also put out snack trays, finger food snack trays, things that will not make a huge mess because they're gonna get dressed. So right after lunch, they got dressed. And then we went ahead and put out snack trays as well. We did meat and cheese and crackers, pretty much a charcuterie board. We had some grapes, some fruits out there as well. And that was one of those things that I hadn't thought of ahead of time for sure. And then as I went to actually start getting things ready for the day, I was like, oh, do I really need this? It really wasn't we had lunch at 11:30, and by noon they were getting ready, and the ceremony was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, that's really not that big of a break. Do we really need snacks? I was so glad that we ended up doing that. Pretty much everything we put out did get ate. We had just a little bit left over. We had some that we didn't put out. But as grandparents arrived early to take pictures, and some more of the wedding party arrived to take pictures and stuff beforehand, things like that. Ones that weren't there for lunch maybe had lunch earlier. It was something that went over really well, and so I am so glad that we had that. So that's another thing to think about, is snacks during that getting ready period, that waiting period before the ceremony actually begins, as people are taking pictures and you're having a lot of that done. Remember, keep it finger foods. We just had napkins or small plates out there, and keep it something that won't make a mess because they're going to be dressed. So anyway, I hope that that is helpful. If you are planning a do-it-yourself wedding, or you have a daughter planning a do-it-yourself wedding, I hope those are some things that help with some of the food ideas and how to plan for that. And even for other big events, this is hopefully helpful as well. I would love for you to subscribe if this is something that's helpful for you, or you have other events that you want to, some tips and ideas for planning. I do have some more do-it-yourself wedding tips coming up as well, some other things that we learned in the process, some things, again, that worked well and some things that didn't. So I'll have more of those coming out soon, and I just hope that this is helpful for you. And if it is, if you know somebody that's getting married and they're wanting to cut their budget, please share this video with them and help them get that planned as well. Get them some ideas on what to do and what not to do. Anyway, have a super fabulous day. I will see you next